Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual on Firstpost, where we get you the 50 top stories of the day. I'm Alison Lagrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin. Now, starting from latest updates from Israel-Hamas war. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has dissolved his 6-member war cabinet that had been overseeing the country's military offensive in Gaza. The move follows the departure of former Army Chief and Defense Minister Benny Gantz from the cabinet. Reports say Netanyahu will now consult with a smaller group of ministers. US and British forces have carried out at least 6 airstrikes on Yemen, according to the Houthi-run television channel. The forces reportedly struck Hodeidah International Airport and the Cameron Island near the port of Salif off the Red Sea. Yemen's internationally recognized government believes Houthis have used the island and Port Salif to launch their attacks on Red Sea and to hide stockpiles of missiles and drones. The White House has condemned China's provocative and irresponsible action in the South China Sea. The remarks come after a Chinese ship collided with a Philippine ship in the disputed sea yesterday. The White House said that at least one Philippine sailor was wounded during the collision. The U.S. labeled the incident as reckless and unnecessary. Russian President Vladimir Putin is all set to visit North Korea to meet Kim Jong-un. The 2-day trip is a friendly state visit. According to reports, Putin and Kim Jong-un will sign a strategic partnership treaty. Putin is reportedly seeking North Korean arms for his military offensive in Ukraine. The U.S. has expressed concern over closer Russia-North Korea ties, claiming that it could affect the Korean peninsula's security. South Korea has said that it is closely monitoring the activities of the North Korean military after its soldiers briefly crossed the military demarcation line near the border. The North Korean troops moved back after warning shots were fired. Seoul released photos of border activities taken over the past 2 months, and the pictures appear to show North Korean soldiers planting landmines and building road-like structures. A criminal court in Thailand granted bail to former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, avoiding his pre-trial detention for allegedly insulting the monarchy in a 2015 interview. The former Prime Minister, who is a powerful backer of the ruling government, has denied the charges. He returned to Thailand last year after 15 years in self-imposed exile, following his ouster from power by a military coup. Thailand has become the first Southeast Asian nation to legalize same-sex marriage after the country's Senate approved the landmark bill. Earlier, the House of Representatives passed the bill in a near-unanimous vote in March. The law will take effect 120 days after its announcement in the Royal Gazette. A collision between a passenger and a cargo train in India's West Bengal killed at least 8 people and injured at least 25 others. Rescue operations were launched right after the tragic accident, and the rail tracks have been restored after the accident. Prime Minister Modi has expressed grief over the unforeseen situation and announced an ex gratia of 200,000 rupees for the family members of the deceased. Opposition Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has vacated the Wayanad seat in Kerala state for sister Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. He had won the Wayanad and Raebareli seats in the recent parliamentary election. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will now make her poll debut by contesting by-polls from the seat. A power outage at Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport disrupted several services yesterday afternoon. The outage impacted airport's conveyor belts, air conditioning, and one of the E-gates. Now, the authorities said that the outage was caused by a voltage spike. Many passengers took to social media to express the inconvenience caused due to the disruption. And Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan in New Delhi yesterday. The duo discussed India-U.S. bilateral relations. Jaishankar, in a social media tweet, said that the talks focused on a broad range of bilateral, regional, and global issues. Now, Sullivan's visit marks the first trip by a high-ranking U.S. official since Prime Minister Narendra Modi returned to office for his third term. At least 3 people were killed in a shooting in Toronto. The police said that the person responsible for the shooting is also believed to be among those found dead. The police believe that the shooting may have been the result of an altercation related to the business conducted on the premises. At least 11 people have died and more than 60 continue to remain missing following 2 migrant shipwrecks off Italy's southern shores. The missing persons include 26 children as well, while the survivors were handed over to the Italian Coast Guard and taken ashore yesterday morning. And on to climate news now. 11 people have lost their lives due to flooding and landslides in El Salvador. The government has issued a state of emergency to facilitate the mobilization of resources. Over 800 people have been forced to evacuate to a safer place. A wildfire in northwest of Los Angeles has consumed more than 14,000 acres of land. About 400 firefighters, equipped with 70 fire trucks and 2 bulldozers, have been battling the fire. Efforts to contain the wildfire are being severely hampered by high temperatures, low humidity, and strong winds. A waterspout transformed into a weak tornado upon reaching land in Florida. As captured in a video, the funnel cloud was seen moving over the treetops. There were no injuries or significant damage caused. The Indian Meteorological Department has predicted that the heat wave would continue on the 18th of June in India's national capital and regions surrounding it. The department has also warned of intense heat waves in several parts of Uttar Pradesh state. Also, isolated heavy rainfall is anticipated for the states of West Bengal, Assam and Meghalaya. The United States is sweltering under extreme heat. The authorities have sounded alerts due to the ongoing heat wave. Excessive humidity is predicted for the week. Meanwhile, central Canada is also under heat warnings as it prepares for dangerous temperatures that could feel as high as 45 degrees. The local officials have urged residents to take necessary precautions. And Greece is reeling under unprecedented early heat wave. The scorching heat has claimed lives of several tourists. Yesterday, police reported the death of a 55-year-old American who was found dead on the island of Matraki, making it the 3rd tourist death in a week. The heavy rain that triggered landslides in southern China has killed at least 9 people. Several people have been evacuated due to the flooding. Meanwhile, the northern parts of the country are battling drought as the country faces 2 extremes of severe weather. On to business and tech news now. China has opened a probe into pork and its byproducts imported from the European Union. The country will examine if pork imported from the EU countries is hurting China's domestic firms. The probe is being seen as a retaliatory measure against EU tariffs announced earlier this month. The EU plans to impose additional tariffs on Chinese electric cars to safeguard its own industry. France's stock market has lost its spot as Europe's biggest market to the UK. The Paris stock market's combined valuation has declined to $3.13 trillion. This is below the $3.18 trillion market value of the London Stock Exchange. This comes as the French stock market has been declining amid political turmoil. President Emmanuel Macron announced a snap election in the country last week. The move sparked a market rout that has wiped off nearly $260 billion from Paris Stock Exchange. And American electric vehicle maker Fisker has filed for bankruptcy. Fisker said that it has up to $500 million in liabilities. Earlier this year, the EV maker raised concerns about its ability to remain in business. Fisker was seeking to partner with a large automaker to restructure its debt. The bankruptcy filing follows the collapse of talks with the automaker. And Tesla has begun a legal fight to reinstate CEO Elon Musk's 2018 pay package. The $56 billion package was nullified by a U.S. court earlier this year. The court had ruled that the details of the package were concealed from shareholders. Last week, Tesla shareholders voted to approve the pay package. Berkshire Hathaway, the investment firm of American billionaire Warren Buffett, has reduced its stake in Chinese electric car maker BYD. Now, Berkshire says that it has sold 1.3 million shares for nearly $40 million. And with this sale, Berkshire's stake in the Chinese firm stands at 6.9%. Berkshire Hathaway first bought BYD shares in 2008. And plane maker Boeing CEO David Calhoun is set to testify before a U.S. Senate committee today. Calhoun is expected to be grilled over the quality and safety issues Boeing jets have been facing. Boeing jets have been involved in a number of mishaps this year, and this has raised concerns over manufacturing issues with Boeing jets. And the U.S. state of Kansas has filed a lawsuit against pharma giant Pfizer. Kansas accuses Pfizer of misleading the public about its COVID-19 vaccine. The lawsuit claims that Pfizer hid evidence that allegedly linked its vaccine to pregnancy complications, including miscarriage. Texas filed a similar lawsuit against Pfizer last year. Meanwhile, the U.S. government has sued editing software maker Adobe. Now, Adobe is accused of enrolling customers without clearly disclosing key terms. The U.S. says that Adobe hides subscription cancellation fees from customers, which can sometimes reach hundreds of dollars. Apple is ending its Buy Now, Pay Later program in the U.S. The service allowed customers to split their purchases into 4 installments with no interest or fees. It was launched for American users in March last year, and Apple says it plans to launch a new loan program through credit and debit cards later this year. Now, the hearing of the case challenging a U.S. law that could potentially ban TikTok will start on the 16th of September. The case was brought by TikTok and a group of users, and the U.S. law was enacted earlier this year. It forces TikTok's Chinese owner ByteDance to sell the app by next year or to face a ban. And moving to some sports news, and we start with cricket. Sri Lanka defeated the Netherlands by 83 runs in a T20 World Cup match. Asalanka and Mendes gave Sri Lanka a good start, chasing the target of 201 runs. The Netherlands were all out in 16.4 overs, scoring just 118 runs. This marks Sri Lanka's only win in Group D matches. While in another World Cup match, the West Indies crushed Afghanistan by 104 runs. Batting first, the West Indies scored 218 for 5. And Nicholas Puran's 98 runs, or 53 balls, was the highlight of the innings. In reply, Afghanistan had a poor start, losing opener Ramanullah Gurbaz in the very first over. Afghanistan was only able to score 114 runs in 16.2 overs. And Pakistan head coach Gary Kirsten has reportedly slammed the Babar Azam-led team after their exit from the World Cup. Kirsten has said that there is no unity in the Pakistani team. Pakistan ended their World Cup 2024 campaign with a consolation win over Ireland earlier this week. The team suffered a shocking loss against co-hosts USA in the tournament, followed up by a defeat against arch rivals India. In football, Romania beat Ukraine 3-0 to secure their first Euros win in 24 years. Ukraine dominated the opening 20 minutes of the match. However, captain Stanchui and midfielder Marin had stunned Ukraine with their long-range strikes. This is Romania's second win in Euros history, following their victory against England at Euro 2000. Meanwhile, France secured a narrow 1-0 victory over Austria in their Euro 2024 opener. The two-time Euros champions had to wait until the 38th minute for their breakthrough. An own goal by Austrian defender Maximilian Huber helped to decide the match. And France's victory was marred by captain Kylian Mbappe's injury. Mbappe was forced off the field in the final minute of the match after suffering a blow to his nose during an aerial duel with Kevin Danso. He was taken to hospital where doctors confirmed that Mbappe had suffered a broken nose. Reports say he has returned to the French team's base camp and will undergo treatment in the coming days. And Indian men's football team's head coach Igor Stimac has been sacked, and this comes after the team failed to advance to the third round of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. India's apex football body has said that a new coach would be best placed to take the team forward. Stimac was appointed head coach of the Indian football team in 2019, and he was given an extension in 2023. In tennis, Australian Open champion Aryna Sabalenka and two-time Wimbledon finalist Ons Jabeur have opted out of the 2024 Paris Olympics. Now, both players cited concerns over transitioning from grass at Wimbledon to clay at Roland Garros for the Olympics. Wimbledon 2024 starts on the 1st of July, while the Olympic matches begin on the 27th of July. World number 3 Sabalenka said that she would prefer to take a break instead of playing in both events. And India's Sumit Nagal has achieved a new career-high ranking of 71 in the latest ATP rankings. Nagal has climbed 6 spots in the rankings, moving past Leander Paes and joining Sashi Menon on the all-time list. With this, Nagal has become the 4th highest-ranked Indian man ever. Ahead of Nagal and Menon are Somdev Devraman, Ramesh Krishnan, and Vijay Amritraj. And in basketball, the Boston Celtics have won their record-breaking 18th NBA title. They have surpassed the Los Angeles Lakers for the most titles in league history. Jason Tatum led the team against the Dallas Mavericks with 31 points, 11 assists, and 8 rebounds, while Jaylen Brown added 21 points as was voted as NBA Finals MVP. Now, this marks the Celtics' first championship since 2008. And on to some entertainment news now. Pop star Katy Perry has officially announced that the first single for the project Women's World will arrive next month on the 11th of July. The official video will be premiered the following day. She also revealed that the single cover art shot by Jack Bridgeland, the cover portrays her in metallic armor-like pants and a bikini top. And singer Celine Dion returned to the red carpet for the first time after her diagnosis of the rare neurological disorder stiff person syndrome. The 54-year-old attended the New York City event for the screening of her upcoming documentary, I Am Celine Dion, with her son, Renee Charles Angelil. Now, the documentary goes inside her life as a legendary performer, It also chronicles her battle with her disorder. And singer Dua Lipa has said that she is willing to risk a backlash over a political statement on Gaza war. She had recently described military operations in Gaza as Israeli genocide. In an interview, the 28-year-old said that the statement was for the greater good and worth the risk. The release date for the F1 film starring Brad Pitt is finally out. It will be premiered worldwide on the 25th of June next year. The film is being produced by seven-time world title winner Lewis Hamilton. The project is a collaborative effort of Formula One and Apple Original Films. The film reportedly has a $300 million budget. And Actors Equity has gone on strike against developmental work. And this strike comes after negotiations for a new contract with the Broadway League have stalled. Equity negotiating team has said that the decision came as a result of an unsatisfactory wage package put forward by the league. And this is the second time Actors Equity has gone on strike for the same reason. In 2019, the union went on a 33-day strike. 85-year-old actor Ian McKellen was reportedly hospitalized yesterday after falling off stage mid-performance in London. The actor, popularly known for playing Gandalf in the blockbuster Lord of the Rings film trilogy, reportedly fell during a fight scene after he lost his footing. And celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay said that he was treated at a hospital after being injured in a really bad bicycle accident in Connecticut. The Hell's Kitchen host said that the accident really shook him and that he's lucky to be alive. In an Instagram post, Ramsay revealed a massive purple bruise on his torso. Actor Kevin Costner has said that he would love to go back to Yellowstone under the right circumstances. The final episodes of the series are currently in production without the previous star who played John Dutton. And Warner Brothers Discovery has named Robert Gibbs as its new communications chief. He is the White House press secretary to former President Barack Obama. Gibbs takes over the role from the former corporate communications chief, Nathaniel Brown, who exited the company in January. And Scooter Braun has officially announced that he is stepping back from managing artists to focus on being CEO of Hybe America. He had unofficially stepped back from managing such top artists like Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande at least 2 years ago. And that's it on today's episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.